Today, I'm gonna go through these 24 nukes and see if a queen has come back from her mating flight. I made these 24 nukes with very little care. I didn't have enough time, I rushed really bad, and now it's time to find out today whether or not it cost me the chance at 40 hives. All right, so no eggs yet. I see mostly just food and emerging brood. Hopefully there's a queen in here. Though, oh, there I see the queen actually. Here's our queen. I just love this time of year. Mating nuke, made this split a few weeks ago. Here's our brand new queen back. And considering her size, I would guess that she's definitely mated. Hard to tell because I'm in a shadow here, but right in the middle, I think I see some eggs. Yep, eggs. So I know this is a queen that I grafted because there are already eggs in here, and if they had made their own queen cells, the queen would not be mated yet. So I love this time of year. Finding these tiny little queens running around, just laying their first few eggs. I would guess this queen just started laying eggs in the past few days. They haven't really drawn any comb yet. This hive initially, when I split them, I didn't find the queen and she ended up in here. So I took her back and put her back in the other hive. So they haven't really drawn any comb. A bunch of brood's about to hatch and I'll start feeding them as well. See how this hive, when I put my hand over it, none of the bees fly out and try to sting me. And they're all moving very slowly and calmly. I would almost guarantee this hive is queen right. We'll put that to the test and see if I'm wrong. But these are bees that are acting like they're queen right. So I did look a little closer and she does have eggs. She's just starting to lay. So I waited 14 days since I put in these queen cells. Some of them 15 days because I grafted twice, so you know some of the cells are slightly older, but we got some food here. So these bees are like just right on the edge. These queens are about to start busting loose, but they haven't really laid a ton of eggs yet. One reason why I thought this queen likely made it, you know, she could have hatched and then not get mated. One reason I thought this queen was mated is because if you look close here, see that cell open like this? That means she hatched. That doesn't mean she necessarily got mated, but it means that she definitely hatched. And so the bees didn't tear down the cell and make their own. This hive to me seems queenless, just the way they're moving around. Maybe they're just a little bit more angry because their top was connected using like a tiny bit of comb. But I don't know, I just think they're a little angrier, so we'll see if they're queen right. Got a full food frame. They're moving a little slower and more methodically on the frame, so maybe they are queen right. All right, so, I mean, they technically have a queen. There's our virgin queen. If you look on this frame, up in here, you can see torn down cells. So this is one that the bees made. So I won't be selling this as a nuke. I'm selling 4 nukes. So I want it to be for my grafted queens, but I'll keep this nuke assuming the queen gets mated. And of course she can. We'll see if she does, but I'll write that on the lid and move on to the next hive. The bees are starting to draw this out, so that means there's probably a decent chance that there's a queen because bees are way more likely to draw comb when they're queen right. So this hive is an interesting case. See how they took out everything out of the cell, all the wax? The other interesting sign is, see how much food there is on this frame. But watch the way they're clearing the frame. You see this bottom section? There's almost no nectar or honey in there. And typically when the bees have no chance of getting a queen back, they fill in everything with completely nectar and pollen. So considering that, I would say it's very likely that they accepted my queen cell, but the queen has not come back yet because I don't see any queen cells that they made. Not on this frame. And if you look in this center portion of the frame, same thing. Lots of open space. So what this to me screams is that the queen has not come back from her mating flight, but still could. The bees think there's still a chance. Got nectar, pollen, really nothing that tells me anything about the queen status here. Here's another one. I got a virgin queen somewhere. You see in this section of the frame, we got torn down queen cells. So queen has gone through, hatched and killed all of her sisters. So I don't need to look at them for another second. There's a virgin queen in here somewhere, and she'll do her job. A lot of these didn't accept the cells, and so I've had some trouble over the years, with cells. This looks fine, but especially this time because I really had to rush an insane amount to get these splits done. So probably less of these cells will be accepted. Here we are. We got eggs right in this section, and I'm not gonna be able to catch it on camera, but great news. So there's definitely a mated queen, and I looked really close because laying workers can sometimes fool you. But no, this is a mated queen. Just the way there's only one egg in every cell and they're all in the same place. So this hive's queen right. Here's the brand new queen. Off she goes. I probably should have held her a little longer so she doesn't have that paint taken off of her, but I can mark her again if I need to. Yep, just like I suspected. There's our mated queen from last year. It made it into one of these nukes. So I don't really need to go much further. Would be good to know how many frames of brood they have, so I'll take a quick look, but not exactly a mystery what happened. I did some dirty splits, so some of them have old mated queens. And due to that, I will definitely not sell this because it's not a 2024 queen. But win some, you lose some. And that was an insane day of splitting, and I just graduated high school, so, not everything's gonna be perfect all the time, but that's a pretty darn good pattern. Dang. Wow. That is a lot of brood. So we just got some pollen, not a lot going on. So far there have been 3 mated queens, 3 non-mated queens, and 1 old queen. So 50% of them have ended up mated if you don't count the queen, the old queen. Well, another mated queen. Don't really see any eggs. So most of the time 14 days is enough, but it seemed like a couple of these just need a few more days. There's probably some eggs on here, but I don't see any eggs on here, but there's a really high chance that she'll start laying in the next day or two, so I would call this a mated queen. She's not a virgin. If you look at her, she's too big to be a virgin. We got just nectar and pollen here. Well, I stand corrected. I found eggs on this side. I'm shocked, but I haven't seen her yet. I don't know why they were so mad. Hopefully it's not a mean hive, but that's, I don't know, I'm pretty surprised. But there are eggs in here. Oh, here we go. Missed her on the first frame. There she is. Now that's an awesome frame. I'm pretty sure this has a old queen and not a new mated queen, because I think I looked into it one time before this. Honestly, don't remember why, but pretty sure they have an old mated queen. And I'd say she's doing okay. Yeah, not bad. Crazy. Just a killer pattern. No reason to get rid of her. I mean, this thing is gonna explode. That's 3 full frames of capped brood. So this ancient queen, she's doing all right. Now that would actually be 3 full frames of brood, but geez, I'm just starting to lay into this as well. I probably missed her, but that's okay. But yeah, this one has an old mated queen in it. I can probably take off my gloves for this one. Very calm. I would think they have a mated queen. Seems likely. You never really know what you're gonna get, but there's not really any brood in here. And a lot of the queens haven't laid much either. But I have a sneaking suspicion with this one that there's laying workers, because they're acting very mellow, and they can do that when they have laying workers, because I do see eggs, but they're multiple in the cells down in this portion of the frame, which young queens can do that, but so can laying workers. I don't know. This looks more like a laying worker than a mated queen to me, but I've been wrong a million times, and I'll be wrong a million more times, so I don't really know. Just have to wait and see. But as I said, I would lean towards laying workers for this. This hive does not have a lack of bee power. They are completely full on the bee front. So something exited this cell. They don't feel like a mated queen to me, just the way they're acting, but I could be wrong. And I'm wrong. There's the queen. Really hoping these nukes aren't mean, and it's just unrelated why they're angry right now. Because we're in a nectar flow, they should be happy. We got eggs all throughout this frame, full of eggs. Wouldn't be shocked if she has multiple frames like this. Just beautiful. She has more eggs than pretty much any queen I've seen so far. So I didn't see any eggs. No eggs in here. And look at these bees running. So they either have a virgin queen or their queen didn't come back. And I'd lean towards virgin queen because there's these little cells right here. So more than likely their queen just hasn't come back yet. So that's why they're all amped up today. As you can see here, probably this queen cell didn't make it. I was rushing like crazy. I was trying to get to my wisdom tooth appointment. I got my wisdom tooth taken out a few weeks ago. So probably they have a virgin queen. You got your average pollen, nectar, as expected. Due to the poor cell installation, they made their own right here. So I think that's 6 or 7 mated queens so far. Don't see any eggs on here. No queen yet. They're acting all mad, so I would doubt there's a queen, but we'll see. Well, there is a queen right here. Don't know if she's mated. She looks to be mated but not laying. Good sign. Got some comb here. So she's got eggs in here. She is spirited, really would be an understatement. I'll show her to you in a second. Took a while to get her marked, but she's marked now. Crazy, crazy queen. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever this queen ate for breakfast, I want some. I mean, she's just nuts. Look at her. She was sprinting around everywhere. I was trying to grab her. She's okay now, but jeez 'em. Will I continue my lucky streak? That'd be 3 in a row. I'm doubtful, but hopeful nonetheless. Looks very promising. We got plenty of eggs in here, and what do you know? A big, fat, beautiful queen. So I'll go get her marked. Here's our girl. She was actually one of the calmest. She barely even flew when I tried to mark her. So I don't see any food over here, which is really not a good sign. I plan on feeding these bees, but they definitely need some food, which I'm surprised because I really thought we were in a really good flow. But either we are and they're not able to get it, or we're not in that good of a flow. I would lean towards we're just not in that good of a flow. So next mating nuke, and looks to be the 4th in a row that's mated. So it seems like the bees just really accepted these cells at a higher rate at the end here. So no complaints here. Coincidentally, this is also when I had more time to put in the cells, so that might be the reason. Yes. Tons of eggs. I should be able to find her here. I'll see her soon. Wow. A lot of eggs. I mean, great news. It's more eggs than I've seen in most of them. Yep. Here she is. I mean, here she is. Look at her go. I'll mark her right up and get her back in. 3 mating nukes to go. Let's see if I can continue the streak here. We have a queen. My camera cut off, but the last 2 queens are mated. We got a virgin queen still in here. I don't know what's going on. I'll close them back up, but it's been many, many weeks. They should definitely have a mated queen by now, but they don't. Everything looks completely normal with her, but she's still not mated. But 13 out of the 15 queens were mated that accepted cells when I was here last time, 2 weeks ago. Looks like this one also has a queen. They're already drawing combs, so even though it's a honey flow, more than likely there's a queen in here. Today I'm gonna check if the 6 that had virgin queens last time now have mated queens. So here's another one that has a mated queen. You can see the eggs right in there. So I could close them up right now, but for the video's sake, I'll show you a little bit more. I meant to grab my marking tool. We're on a very, very good flow. This is full of eggs and larvae. Yep. So this is definitely one of the ones that came back recently. I don't see any capped brood yet. There may be some on the other side of the hive, but I would guess that she's just not really gotten going for that long yet. Well, here's some cap brood. So she's been in here for about 10 days. Just starting to cap it. My guess is she's on one of these last 2 frames because I haven't seen her quite yet. We got more eggs, pollen, capped brood. It's a very heavy frame. You can see the honey at the top here. And here's our girl. Working on this frame. So this mating nuke is textbook. It's exactly what I would expect. It's been about 25 days since I dropped the queen cells in. And I might come back a little later and mark her when I have my pen, but this is exactly what you want to see. Wow. So far 14 queens before this have been mated. And then we've had one virgin and then 3 that had splits with the old queens in them. But here's another one. She's fat too. Big queen. And even she has capped brood. So moving along very nicely. And these other 2 frames also have plenty of eggs, pollen, everything looks great. We're on, as I said, a very good flow. And they're working, just starting on this 5th frame as well. Just look at this box of bees. This hive is queen right. They're moving slow, normal. That is a queen right hive, I guarantee you. And they're drawing comb. It's not a ton, but they took longer for them to get their queen back, so kind of makes sense. Completely as expected. Their eggs, larvae, all in here. It's not laying worker, it's normal queen. And the biggest surprise for me is look at that pollen. I mean, we are in a honey flow, but I guess I don't associate this much pollen being stored in nukes, especially this time of year. But there's a lot of pollen right now. Absolutely beautiful frame of larvae. Just awesome stuff. And just like most of the other hives, they're just about to cap it here. So that's 16 queens now that are mated. And there we have Big Mama. What a beaut. I mean, just really, really good mating on all these hives. They destroyed this cell, but I'll take it out anyway. Everything beekeeping wise went terribly last year, but this year couldn't be more different. We got a great flow and the queens are mating at an unbelievably high rate. Now it's 16 out of the 21 are mated because 3 I accidentally split old queens into, but they're just starting and they look a little jumpy. So I'm not so sure if this one's queen right. So this one is not queen right. I don't know how well you can see down into these cells, but there are multiple eggs in them. I haven't heard many other people say, but the easiest way to tell if you have a laying worker is if they make queen cups in the hive that you suspect may have a laying worker, look and see if you see multiple eggs in the queen cup. If you do, you 100% without a doubt, or not 100%, because beekeeping is never 100%, 99% of the time that means you have a laying worker. So I have a laying worker in this one. So as you can see, this hive has been busy. You see this much comb on top of the frames? 9 times out of 10, that means they're going to have a mated queen. It's a pretty good sign. And we got another mated queen, full of larvae in here. And there she is. Got our little marked mated queen here. Just crazy good mating. Can't believe it. My takeaway is, even though I'm never gonna make splits this fast and like screw it up like this, it just happened to work out really well this one time, and I'm very, very thankful for that. Look at that brood. Great stuff. The nectar is dripping out of these frames, and I'm not even shaking them. Full of eggs, pollen, honey, everything. I can also smell the honey, this awesome honey right in here. There we are, another mated queen. So that's 18 out of 21 have mated queens. So best mating I have ever gotten, even though I did a terrible job when splitting. Everything looks good, tons of eggs. This frame is just 100% full of brood. It's just so much brood. I botched pretty much everything when I was doing these splits. Went too fast, hurt the cells, and yet here we are with 18 out of 21 queens, and there's still one that could get mated. Just absolute mating magic. Now that you've seen me inspect all these nukes, you probably want to see the process of how I made these splits. So check out this video right here.